Hey everybody. Finally, I'm getting around to doing my update. I have been recording as I'm going along. However, I've just been slammed with a ton of crazy events and decisions and deadlines and everything you could imagine. So finally coming back, editing, and doing this is supposed to be June through August of 2025 Potter's vlog. This is coming after doing Coronaburg, which was the Ren Fair, one of the oldest Ren Fairs in the Los Angeles ish range. It's actually I guess it's San Bernardino, pretty far away from me. It was I think it was about an hour and a half drive one way. Yeah, and I was only just doing that special weekend as I was recording and so forth. But came back from that exhausted and really kind of just trying to find my people. I think the biggest challenge, at least for me, as I've found as a artist trying to live off my art, has been finding people that like my work and that are able to afford the work. I don't sell my stuff for cheap. I try to be reasonable. Um, just and pricing stuff's always hard, but I try to keep in mind that I put a lot of time. And even before I even start making, I'm researching, I'm thinking about it, I'm sketching and planning. And that all takes a lot of time. And then when I start getting my hands into the clay, I'm really trying to make sure my work is thin or as thin as possible without warping. And I have definitely proven that I can throw and work very thin, but I have warped a couple mugs, so I have to there's a balance between what should be done, how thin, and all that, and gravity. Um, so there's a lot for me to do. Like I'm trimming, I'm altering the surface in multiple ways from when it's in greenware stages in clay, mark making, scratching, pushing, just everything you could imagine on my work. And a lot of it is experimental because I'm trying to find some fun techniques that aren't as time consuming, which that's the big caveat, and that people like and that people are willing to pay for. So came back from the Ren Fair and Coronaburg actually as of recording, which right now it's November. I think it's the 19th. Either it's the 19th or the 20th. But as of now, I think actually Coronaburg is no more. The site was sold off, and that's actually being cleared. So, which is sad because that event has been there for like 17, 17 years. I don't know, more probably. It's the first time I ever saw it or heard of it. So, anyway, well, I think last year I kind of heard about it, but I, I was too in the weeds last year, getting over a couple of big changes. But anyhow, um, so I'm constantly just looking for people that like my stuff. I don't want to make beige or one colored pots anymore. I don't want to have to worry about what's selling necessarily. I mean, I think that it's smart to at least keep some of that in mind when you're making things. You don't want to make crazy decisions. But I mean, sometimes crazy sells. So who am I to judge? I was basically encouraged to make things that I love and that I would pay for. So So that's what I've been doing, and trying to find more people like me is hit and miss because I'm weird. But with the way that in the U.S. now, with the way the economy is, it is really unstable, and so people are not spending as much. And anyhow, uh, so I don't know if I think I heard it on a podcast, but one of the podcasts was talking about selling at science fiction and anime and comic conventions. And to be honest, I used to do that a long time ago. Before I did ceramics, I was selling my work, and I would go to science fiction conventions, but it was my 2D work, not my 3D. I wasn't doing ceramics then, and doing mostly fan art. And I had a lot of friends that do it professionally. And sorry, I've got dry eye. So anyway, so I've got a lot of friends that go to furry conventions, comic conventions, and sell their prints and magnets and all that kind of good stuff. And I did that for several years until I found ceramics, and then I didn't look back. And then, so when I was listening to that podcast and them suggesting trying to, that they sell at science fiction conventions, whatever, I was like, why don't I try that? Because my friends, when was doing a lot of pottery and I've been in the Society for Creative Anachronisms for over 25 years. Right when I started learning how to do pottery, actually, was when I was really going for it. And so I just kind of was like, you know what? Why don't we try this? Because people in my historical society are geeks too. They like comic books, science fiction movies, comic movies, all everything. Star Wars, Star Trek, I mean, just everything. And so why don't I just try that venue? Because I can see my stuff being sold there, and a lot of those people really like it. And I like making stuff that are fanish, like, and maybe based off of different books, different movies, cartoons, whatever. I just want to be able to make fun things and hopefully be able to survive off that. So I found out about a convention called Baycon or Westercon. It's up in San Jose. Wasn't it San Jose? And anyhow, July 4th was my first convention going in, selling my work. However, from doing historical stuff, it was a big transition because it always takes me a while to pivot. And so I was in mid-pivot, basically, at Westercon, Baycon. And so I had a mix of my my drollery stuff that I do a lot of. I just had started doing it actually in the SCA. Was it? I think it was last year October, when I started. I think when I started it, maybe. I know it was sometime last year. Just starting to do that. Doing the decals, the custom decals, and hand coloring them and all that. And using these 16th century illustrations. So that kind of is geeky enough that I thought, okay, these people should be okay to sell. And I also brought a lot of my more colorful stuff and my more experimental stuff, and I'm just sort of transitioning. So I brought one of my friends with me. We shared a room, and gas, so that helped a lot. The con was very small in comparison, so that was the first thing that I learned, which was try to find conventions that have a lot of people going to it, more than just I don't know, it seemed like maybe there was 800, but maybe there was 2,000 people. I didn't see it. But yeah, I did a whole video, which you are welcome to take a look at, which talked about BayCon, the history behind BayCon, and how Westercon is doing, and it's old school science fiction, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just mostly literary and a lot of so. Not to say that comic book fandom and other fandoms don't read, because they obviously do. However, these conventions, at least these old school ones, really tap into people that read novels. And those novels could be any science fiction, fantasy, and I mean, it's a big swath of people and authors and genres that crisscross within the fandom and that and that sci-fi convention. And so I went. I barely broke even, and that was just so I could pay the gas, my part of the hotel room, and the table. The table was not cheap either. Like, nothing was cheap. And I'm not even including the costs of my actual product that I sold, because there are costs involved in every mug, every bowl, everything I make. There is costs. There's clay, glaze, materials, electric bill, that just their things have costs. And then there's tax that I have to worry about, and just like everything. So I went to that convention and I thought, okay, not doing this one again, not doing anyone that's similar to that. So that actually clears out a lot of different conventions that I might lose my shirt off of. My second convention was GalaxyCon in San Jose, which was in August. And for that convention, for GalaxyCon, I only had a table, and I knew I had a little bit more space for the Westercon BayCon 77. So I brought quite a bit, but I knew I was more limited. I got a friend of mine to come and share again. That was super helpful. Thank God I did that, because yet again, barely broke even. And I was trying out new setups, since I only had I think I only had 8, was it 8 feet or 6 feet? I think it was an 8-foot table at GalaxyCon. So I've been watching a lot of YouTubes and seeing other artists that go to science fiction conventions and how they present their products, how they sell, their merchandising, their branding, all of that. And it's been a work in progress, really. Me just trying to figure out what could fit on a table, how my products can be shown, because it's 3-dimensional and it needs good lighting. And some of these conventions have terrible lighting, and you need to stand out away from all these other fantastic artists. And so everybody's trying to do the same thing you are. The good thing about me, though, is a lot of my stuff is ceramics and handmade ceramics.
Well, I love the
using my Cricut
mid-century
and making
style.
sublimation type products, because there are people that do that as well.
How long have you guys been selling your
so
work? 20 years.
Anyhow,
I might
GalaxyCon, I learned quite a bit. It's a newer con for San Jose, as far as I know, and it's coming back next year. I'm not sure whether or not I want to go to it or not. I guess I have to see as far as, how I'm doing stock wise and energy wise and scheduling of shows and all that. But anyhow, I walked around quite a bit at both conventions, and I created this video. I'm going to go ahead and intersperse my narration here, and share at least the beginnings of me finding new people who are my people, and everything that I learned as I went through, and what I saw. And uh, at this point in time, I really wanted to ask you all if you like my content, like listening to this, like watching artists selling and trying to make a living, especially geeky people. Please hit that subscribe button, smash it, and if you put a like in, or share, follow for more in the future. And I do have another video that will be covering September through November, which I'm working on currently, which has a lot more conventions, including LA LA Comic Con that I did, which was really great. And so I've seen a lot of positives with this pivot and all the new products I'm working on and all that good stuff. If you have any suggestions for me, you want to know me to kind of do deep dives into how I create my stuff, where I'm getting my ideas from, how I'm doing things, feel free to plan a comment down below or reach out to me. I am around and on all of the social medias. I have a TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of good stuff. But anyhow, thanks for listening and watching and supporting me. And take it easy. I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye bye.